Hi, friends. We just want to say thank you to all of our ministry partners. And the last 6 weeks have been very interesting. Nebraska has experienced, like the entire nation and actually the globe, the COVID-19 pandemic. So you're probably wondering, what has NFA been up to? Well, joining me today is Nate Gross. He's our policy director. And our mission is to advance family, freedom, and life. And the way we do that is by influencing policy, mobilizing prayer, and empowering people. And to start out, Nate, what's been very unique, we have had 11,000 new viewers to our website wanting information.
Yeah, the last few months have been so unprecedented and uncertain for everyone. But we're thankful that in spite of all this chaos and uncertainty, that God is still providing our ministry with some really unique opportunities to get to help serve people in our state and continue to stand for family, freedom, and life. And that's included reaching thousands of new people who have gotten in touch with us and found important information and resources on our website. And we've been really thankful for those opportunities to get to step into that gap and help support churches and our government leaders and families across our state.
Well, it all started about 6 weeks ago on a Friday night when I got a call from Governor Ricketts, and he was wanting our assistance to be able to reach the faith community and have a conversation. So in a couple of days, we lined up a conference call with faith leaders all across the state, and we had over 500 pastors on the conference call to be able to do a Q&A with the governor. It was very helpful.
Yeah, that was one of the first things we got to do was host a conference call with Governor Ricketts, and we had well over 500 pastors from across our state participate in that call, and that was a unique but important opportunity to get to help leverage our relationships with government leaders and faith leaders and bring them together to have conversations and to give up-to-date information on how churches and pastors can help serve Nebraskans and find creative ways to continue proclaiming the gospel, even though church doors haven't been open. We've all been making adjustments, and so we've been really proud to get to help play a role in facilitating those important conversations between government leaders and faith leaders.
And one of our, what we like to call our sweet spot, is the intersection of faith and family and the government. And we've really had an honor to get to serve where those three spheres meet. One of the things that we did then was develop a pray and serve card, but it's on our COVID-19 resource page. There's lots of information there for pastors, faith leaders, isn't there?
Yeah, so we developed a special dedicated webpage on our website with information and resources relating to the coronavirus. And there's some great tools and resources for families, pastors, and churches. Things like educational tools and resources for parents who are now helping their kids learn from home. We've got some great information on answers to legal questions and resources to help churches during this pandemic. And we've been really encouraged to see well over 2,000 people access that webpage and benefit from those resources that we've been able to provide.
And it's been wonderful seeing God's people united all across the state to not only pray, but to serve our community in need. One of the other surprises that happened in empowering people was when the Secretary of State contacted us. We just finished a primary election, and we were able to be a resource to them.
Yeah, the coronavirus has impacted all areas of life, including elections. And we were really appreciative that we were still able to move forward with our primary election here in Nebraska. And so we got to partner with our Secretary of State in producing radio programs and PSAs and videos, really getting information out to Nebraskans, making sure that they knew what to expect on Election Day and also how they could get their mail-in ballot. We wanted to really make sure that in the midst of this pandemic, that voter participation and voter turnout was still at high levels. And so we were really grateful for that opportunity and to get to play a role in our elections.
Well, one of the things that you'll hear us say often around our office is elections have consequences. And we encourage people to be good citizens and use their freedom to vote. So another project that we've been fully involved in is our voter guide.
Well, the voter guide was a huge project for us, but it's something we were really glad to get to produce and make available to the citizens of Nebraska. Our voter guide is, I think, unique and plays an important role because It allows people to see the specific candidates that were on their ballot and their positions on issues like the right to life and taxpayer funding of abortion, but also religious freedom and school choice, judicial nominations, and family values. And so that was a really important tool to help empower people to not only vote, but to make an informed vote and to help support candidates who are aligned with their values.
And what is our website with the voter guide?
The voter guide is available at nebraskavoterguide.com, and that'll be available up online now and through the November election. And it's completely free, and it's personalized to your address, and it's a great tool to get to share with friends and family. You might be someone who knows exactly who you're voting for and where the candidates stand, but there's likely people in your circle of influence who have no idea. And so it's a great way to allow them to see for themselves where the candidates stand on the issues.
And as we approach the November elections, obviously we'll be updating the NebraskaVoterGuide.com. Very user-friendly. You can even print your choices and take it to the ballot poll when you go in November. It has really been a project that I think is worth our time, because we do believe we want people representing us that share our values.
People of faith play such a critical role in elections. We know that when people of faith vote and they know where the candidates stand and participate in the elections, it makes a huge difference, because in order for us to have good policy and good laws, we need good policy makers, and that starts at the ballot box, and it starts with making those informed decisions.
Well, we are committed to continuing to empower people, to let their voice be heard. One of our other pillars is influencing policy. Well, now the legislature is on hold right now. It's indefinite resource. It is an indefinite recess. But what's happening on the policy front? Where are senators at? And then we've had two unique other opportunities.
Yeah, so our state legislature right now has been indefinitely suspended. They've really pressed pause. And so we're not sure when exactly they'll get to reconvene, but we do know that the legislature plans to come back together at some point this year to finish the remainder of this year's session. But even while the legislature has been suspended, we've had a couple of really important and unique opportunities, particularly focused on the area of life and continuing to defend unborn children in the womb. And so one of the first things that we got to do was help participate in and sign on to an amicus brief that was filed in federal court in the Fifth Circuit in Texas. In this case, had to do with states like Texas who were prohibiting abortion during this pandemic as an elective surgery that have been prohibited or postponed during the coronavirus outbreak. And so, of course, this is something that was challenged by Planned Parenthood. And so we were able to get involved with some of our allies from Texas and other states and submit that brief to the Fifth Circuit, urging them to uphold what Texas and other states have done, prohibiting abortion as not essential health care. And thankfully, that decision was upheld. And so we didn't have a lawsuit like that here in Nebraska. So we were really grateful to get to help stand with other pro-life groups in other states and supporting those pro-life leaders who are protecting innocent human life during this pandemic. And the second thing, one of the really unfortunate things that we've seen during this pandemic is that the abortion lobby and pro-choice politicians have been trying to loosen restrictions around the abortion pill. And so they can increase telemedicine abortions and what they're now calling self-managed at-home abortions. And that's really a big concern to us. And so we partnered with our Family Policy Council allies from across the country, and we sent a letter to federal officials in the FDA and DHHS, urging them not to listen to those calls to reduce those restrictions and to remain firm in both protecting unborn children and those important safeguards that are intended to protect the health and safety of women. And so those were two unique opportunities that we've had recently in the policy arena to continue to be a voice for the voiceless and defend both women and unborn children.
The issue of life is dear to us. We believe that life is given by God, and it's from conception, to natural death. So every stage of life. Before we transition here to the prayer piece, I know LB 814, which would ban dismemberment abortion, is still on the docket. Update us where that is. When senators return, we'll have 17 days left of business.
That's right. LB 814 has been our top priority this year with the state legislature. And this is a bill that is so important because no living human being should be torn apart limb by limb. And certainly in our society, there should be no place for a practice like dismemberment abortion. And this bill would put an end to that. And so right before the legislature was suspended, there was a poll motion that was filed to get that bill out of committee so it can be debated and voted on by the full legislature. And so that's where things are at right now with that bill. It is still alive, and that's going to continue to be our top priority. If and when the legislature does reconvene, we're going to make a big push to make sure that that bill gets a chance to be voted on and to pass into law this year.
How can people be updated about LB 814?
We have a lot of information on our website at nebraskafamilyalliance.org, and you can continue to get updates on the status of the state legislature and what's happening with bills like LB 814 that we're monitoring at the state capitol.
Well, we've talked about influencing policy, empowering people. Our third pillar, which is really foundational to everything we do, is pray. And mobilizing prayer is near and dear to our heart. Many of you may not be aware, but actually in our facility, we have a 24-hour prayer center. It's called Prayer Place. We have over 1,000 visits every year, prayer groups. And because of COVID-19, we've not been able to have the center open, but we're doing some unique things to keep these groups still praying. Tell us, Nate.
Yeah, one thing that we've been able to do is utilize technology and different platforms like Zoom to allow people who regularly use our facility to pray to still meet with their prayer groups and unite in prayer. And every month we also host the Capitol Prayer Walk.
Yes.
And we have a group of people that we gather with to pray inside of our state capitol. And even though we haven't been able to do that physically together inside the state capitol in recent months, we've still been gathering virtually and hosting prayer meetings online for people to unite with us in praying for our government leaders. And it's been really encouraging to see how many people have joined with us in continuing to pray.
What's unique is our numbers of participation have actually increased because you didn't have to be in Lincoln at the Capitol to join the prayer walk. People from all over the state. A wonderful other opportunity we've had is we've always hosted a National Day of Prayer right inside the Warner Chamber in the state capitol. But this year, we were honored to have Governor Ricketts join us for an online prayer service. And tell us about that.
You know, every year we get to host the National Day of Prayer, which is a really exciting opportunity. And unfortunately, we weren't able to, again, have a physical gathering inside the state capitol. And so we took it online. And we also had a conference call, a statewide prayer call. And one of the neat things, as you shared, Karen, is we actually had higher participation than we've ever had. And so we got to reach more people and unite with more Nebraskans in prayer on National Day of Prayer than we ever had before. And it was a really special and powerful time to hear from the governor's office and pastors and different leaders across our state and praying for the vulnerable and those who have been impacted, for our government leaders, for our churches, and for families, education. And we were excited to get to see the response. And I think right now we all know just how much of a need there is. People are looking for hope and encouragement. And when we can unite together in prayer, it does make a difference. And that's something that we're committed to continuing to do and help foster in our state.
It is very important. We felt so strongly about it that from some of our conference calls when we started getting 500, 600 participants, we upgraded. And so we increased our capacity, and it's been well worth it because we can unite with others all across the state in prayer. We are living in a season in life that none of us have ever known. We've never had a pandemic like this. And it certainly is a time for us as God's people to be in prayer.
And you know, one of the things that we've been committed to as a team every morning is beginning with prayer. And so we're continuing to pray for all of you, for our faithful supporters and allies and friends of our ministry. We are praying for you and your families. And please always reach out to us if you have specific needs or prayer requests or ways that we can be continuing to pray for you and your family.
And I encourage you to look at our COVID-19 resources at nebraskafamilyalliance.org. We actually have a prayer and serve card that's downloadable, easy to print, and invite your neighbors, people from your church, your Bible study to join as we continue to unite in prayer and to serve our neighbors. That's what God's people do.
You know, we feel such a calling, and we're so honored to get to be a part of our ministry at Nebraska Family Alliance and to get to stand for family values and for freedom and for life in our state. And it's not possible without the tremendous support that we receive from all of you and from across the state. So thank you for your continued partnership and support for our ministry. And no matter what is happening in the world, even during a pandemic, we're committed to continuing to fight for the things that we believe in and to stand for the truth of God's word.
To all of our ministry friends, all of the team at NFA want to thank you for listening in to our ministry update. God bless you.